What's happening? Today I'm going to discuss how to treat people like people. I watched a video the other day about how someone sort of mentioned how our interactions now are a bit weird or standoffish sometimes if we feel a certain way and sort of make a pre-assumption of that interaction before we've even entered it. So I'm going to discuss how to treat people because like yourself, you're just a person at the end of the day. Sometimes you find yourself wanting to talk to someone, but your mind is going mental with all these thoughts going, ooh, I want to talk to this person, but I'm a bit intimidated. They could be quite attractive, and you could be like, do they think I'm too ugly to talk to them? And stuff like that. And the emotional truth is that you want to connect, but there's that sense of vulnerability that you're feeling. You're intimidated by their presence, by their confidence, and like I said, how good looking they are. You overthink, am I enough? Or before you've even entered this conversation, you might go, I might mess this up, or don't mess this up. And you put even more pressure onto yourself when, like I said, it's the opposite gender. Because there's that sense to wanting to impress them, leave a good impression so that potentially you you go down the path of a good friend or relationship. And then with that, it also sparks where you might talk too little in this interaction with this person or too much. And what you need to do really is just be in the middle and be curious about them and show interest in what they want, rather than sort of throwing everything about your life out there for them to know everything about you, really. Just give that little mysterious tone about yourself. The shift in this mindset would be when you treat someone like a god, you forget they're a normal human being too, just like yourself. When you meet someone new, you enter an interaction where you've never met each other, you've never spoken to each other, you don't know how each other behave, you know nothing about each other to create that presumption apart from how they look. You put them on a pedestal, especially if they're attractive or assert confidence in the environment that you're in. Sometimes you could be at a bar and you could see someone talking to everyone, being really like chuckly and having a good time, and you could just see that they're really confident in themselves. And then you put them on that pedestal and you go, wow, he's really confident or she's really confident, and then you put the pressure on yourself to even talk to them. You don't need to impress. You just need to sort of put yourself out there of who you are, who you want to be, and sort of you don't need to drop the perfect line, because sometimes it's cringe and it's like, oh, why has he said that? Like, sometimes saying the perfect thing is wrong. Also, is there a perfect thing? We've discussed it. No one's perfect. Is there a perfect line? No. People like different things, so it's sort of just what works at the time and the environment you're in. You just need to be present. You need to be present in the conversation with them, in interacting with them. You need to be curious, and you need to be the real authentic version of yourself rather than something forced or something that's not you. And you know yourself better than anyone else. You know you're the only one that knows yourself. So just keep it real, and then that shift in mentality and mindset will help you in that conversation to just treat someone like yourself. Now, what are the practical and actionable steps that you can take to treat someone like a person? Normalize yourself being nervous as well as them also having nerves to talking to you, because you might put them on a pedestal and you never think about the other side where they might have put you on one. This means that you care about not only your own feelings and how nervous you're feeling and how vulnerable you can be, but also the other person. You feel nervous, but you still speak and carry yourself in the conversation rather than talking a lot and talking not enough. You sort of just speak at the perfect level, and you can both sense each other's nerves, but that's normal, that's life. Start simple in this interaction. You don't need to be witty. Obviously, you can be witty and it will show that you've got something about you, a bit of confidence, personality. But have just a normal conversation. Comment on something that's happening in and around you, or something that you've then gone down a rabbit hole and you both mutually share a passion or enjoyment for. Be personable, not personal. And what I mean by that is, we love a trauma dump with our mates. But when you meet someone new, you don't need to trauma dump because you've never met them before. So you don't need to tell them your life story. You don't need to trauma dump, and you don't need to get deep really. You just need to be at just a jolly, happy level where you just sort of, you're getting to know each other, not your whole life story. Keep it light, keep it real, and keep it curious, like I said. You want to make sure that when you're having this conversation, you want to have vibes over vulnerability. Like I said, be vulnerable, obviously. Like in life, you can't hide away from ever being vulnerable in life. But when you meet someone new, when you are treating someone differently to how you would normally treat anyone in your life, you don't need to be vulnerable. You just need to just be positive about how the interaction will go, not only in that moment, but in the future as well. Don't put them above you. We've said it already about the pedestal. Don't put them above you, because although you can admire them and do that, especially if they're attractive, admire them and go, fair play. Don't forget your own worth, because they, like I said, are putting you on the same kind of pedestal. Or tell yourself that to make yourself feel better. Tell yourself that, yes, I am a handsome fella. I'm confident. And if you carry yourself with that, that will lead you in good stead in that conversation. When you're in this conversation, though, you want to leave them with something to hold on to, something to remember you by, how you treated them like a person, because they are just a person. You don't need to be perfect. Like I said already, what is perfect? We don't know. There's nothing perfect in this world. Everything's got a cause and effect and a problem and a solution. We don't know. But you don't need to be perfect or your ideal conscience of what is perfect. Be present. We've said this every day for the last 2 weeks. If you're not present in the conversation with your mates, with your family, with new people, conversations aren't going to go anywhere. People aren't going to want to have a conversation with you because you're thinking about the past and the future and where your life might go or has gone, rather than where it is right now. You also need to have the idea that no one is better than each other. You're just two people that are both figuring life out, both at different stages of your life, both at potentially the same point in your life, but you're both just figuring it out. And you're also in that conversation, both figuring each other out. You've never met each other. You might have met each other, but you don't know everything about each other. Because like I said, you don't need to trauma dump. You don't need to go deep. You just need to be positive and real and curious. And when you get to this depth of conversation where you're just figuring each other out, that is where you get to know people as people rather than what they look like.